ITIL. ITIL is the world's most widely adopted source of good practice for managing technology-based services and creating value for customers and other stakeholders. You might have certified already, maybe as early as V2 or V1, maybe V3 or ITIL 4, and now we are in ITIL 5 for the modern digital world. ITIL has come a long way since the IT service management era to right now. It is in ITIL 5, version 5, it is digital and product service management. So it's mainly the digital product and service management rather than just IT service management. So it's no longer service management, but product and service management. And at the same time, it is no longer just ITIL or IT, but it's digital. It is, of course, ITIL. And we'll see more about what is there in this new ITIL. At the top, we can see ITIL is a framework and best practice guidance, initially originated from the Cabinet Office in the UK, and then moved on to Axelos, a private company, and then now with PeopleCert in Greece, and is the best practice guidance for digital product and service management. In the late 80s, ITIL V1 with several books, then early 2000, V2 with less number of books and focusing on service strategy and service design, and then V3 brought a bigger change with a life cycle based approach. However, that might have created some silos in terms of service strategy versus design, transition, operation, and improvement. But so some organizations might have tried to apply those 5 life cycle stages among different teams, but silos are not good, as you probably know. And nevertheless, you will find the elements of these 5 life cycle stages even in ITIL 5 to some extent, because we cannot get away with it completely. But then we cannot afford to have silos. We need to have more collaborative environments now. 2011 brought in some incremental updates along with the 2016 V3 practitioner, which brought in the guiding principles and a few other things. 2019 is when ITIL 4 came up to the master level certification, just like ITIL V3 also had expert and master. ITIL 4 did not have the expert, but had the master. And we do have the ITIL master in ITIL version 5 as well, but it is mainly the digital product and service management. So 2026 has ushered in the new era of ITIL. And we know that digital technology has evolved so quickly in the last few years, and therefore we need some customizable or tailorable guidance, some practical guidance, value-oriented guidance to manage our technology and associated business. But we cannot let go of some key concepts and some strong concepts from previous versions. For example, the value system, known as the service value system in ITIL 4. We had the service value chain as well and the value stream in ITIL 4. But now they are known as just value system rather than service value system. And similarly, the value chain rather than just a service value chain. And then we do have the management practices still in ITIL version 5, just like ITIL 4. But then there'll be some enhancements to them. For example, the continual improvement practice will have significant changes in ITIL version 5. And then we will still see the 4 dimensions of service management in ITIL version 5, but they are named as 4 dimensions of product and service management because we now have the integrated concept of product and service management together. And then we still have the continual improvement model and the guiding principles. Just to summarize, ITIL version 5 has a strong digital focus. It allows you to integrate advanced digital tools such as AI, helps to respond to changing business environments, set up cultural changes, engage with customers more effectively, efficiently, focus on organization change, innovation, rather than just technology for its own sake. And at the center, we see the key point here about integrated or integration of digital product and service lifecycle. Even though it's usual to have a product life cycle versus a service life cycle, but there is a need to be aware of the association between them and have an integrated life cycle. Of course, you may have a product vendor who focuses purely on the product life cycle and a service vendor or a service provider focusing purely on the service life cycle. But sometimes you may have a single organization being the both product and the service provider. And therefore, they need to integrate it. And this also the integration is needed even if the product vendor and the service provider are not the same. They will have to work with each other during this life cycle. So we need the synergy between the product and the services based on the product. A product has potential for value, whereas the service delivers that potential. So product has latent potential, and the service is what triggers and makes it realized. ITIL version 5 is complexity and AI native, meaning AI concepts are inherent in ITIL version 5, and complexity concepts are also inherent in ITIL version 5. So you might recollect even from ITIL 4, we had the Kunevin framework of complexity. It's a decision-making framework, but then it was in the higher modules. We will see that introduced in the ITIL version 5 foundation itself. You might be interested in comparing ITIL version 5 with the previous version in case you are already certified in any of the previous versions. Specifically ITIL 4, as we can see here, a bit of repeat from what I mentioned earlier. Some of them are new here, of course. So rather than calling it just IT service management, it is now digital product and service management. And products and services now reframed as digital products and services. And it is an integrated digital product and service lifecycle. There was automation and AI enablement in ITIL 4, but now we have it AI native. AI is inherent within ITIL version 5. There is a lot of guidance on that and governance as well, which is necessary. ITIL 4 worked well for clear contexts, maybe complicated, a little bit for complex contexts as well, but ITIL version 5 is designed for complex context mainly. We had the terms of service provider and service consumer since quite some time, but now we have another role or organization type, which is the product vendor. Utility warranty experience existed for some time. Now we have another one added, which is sustainability, which has become key for many organizations around the globe. Service value system, as I mentioned earlier, is now reframed as a value system rather than just a service value system because we now have products also. Then we have the service value chain, now named as value chain. You might recollect in ITIL 4, there were 6 service value chain activities, such as engage, obtain or build, and then design, deliver, support, transition, and so on. But now we have 8 value chain activities such as discover, acquire, design, and so on. The old 6 value chain activities will still work within the new 8 value chain activities. So for example, in the newer discover value chain activity, discover can call upon the plan service value chain or the engage value chain or whatever. However, we don't reflect those terms in ITIL version 5. Digital and IT strategy was already there in ITIL 4, but then a big thing in ITIL version 5 is the transformation guidance for implementing ITIL in a complex world. Now, you might argue that why not use the continual improvement practice or the model to bring transformation? You can. However, if you have very complex improvement to be performed, then the transformation will guide you for that. ITIL 4 did have some connection with DevOps and Prince2, but then in ITIL version 5, there will be much more synergy with DevOps and Prince2. In fact, at the foundation level, we will also touch upon in one of the modules, the ending module on the synergy. ITIL 4 was good with the certifications. There were many certifications available, a platter of certifications. We have them here as well, but they will be more relatable for your progression based on your own work areas. And you might appreciate that.